Perhaps it's time here in the United States for a Declaration of Interdependence. The state of the union is dire. And what we're seeing today is what happens when ruthlessness and selfishness and what we could think of as hyper-individualism bring an entire nation into a state of chaos and peril. And of course, the implications of that go around the world. So at such times, it becomes necessary to reimagine governance from the ground up. Something is profoundly wrong. The wrong people are in charge, and they wield too much power over the rest of us and over the world itself. In the King James Version is a proverb that we've probably all heard at one time or another: when there is no vision, the people perish. And that's true. It has also been more recently translated as when there is no revelation, the people run wild, which is also true. So in terms of revelation, for today, perhaps we're talking about a reimagining, the need for a collective reimagining of principles, of ideals, of values that can help us all move forward together toward the nation of our desire. So to begin this exercise just for myself, I did a couple of things. One is I created a Declaration of Interdependence that I'm going to read you. And the other is I unpacked it in a much larger article, a blog, called Let's Repair the Liberty Bell. So if you look up my last name online and Let's Repair the Liberty Bell, it'll probably pop up. If it doesn't, you can go to my website, chalkwist.com/blog, and then just scroll down. It's long struck me as a really heavy symbol that one of the central emblems of the nation, the Liberty Bell, was cracked from the very beginning, which is no surprise to some of us. In fact, the last time it cracked was on President's Day. How can we repair that bell? Because it's not just a Liberty Bell cast in metal. It's the Liberty Bell in our own hearts. Our hearts are broken. Our hearts are split. How can we begin the healing? So for me, it starts with imagination. That's what my background and studies have been in, especially recently. It starts with imaginings of the kinds of guiding stories that we need to move us all forward and to bridge that gap that Van Jones eloquently describes as the gap between the ideal America and the real America. So I wrote this down, brought it out here with me. It begins with a preamble. Let's see if I can do all this manually here. There we go, sort of. All right. So, preamble to my Declaration of Interdependence. Foundational truths need new formulations as the times advance. The course of human events now requires that we who love our country reimagine in good faith the present and future governance of the United States of America. Our governing institutions have been subverted by reckless greed, backed by ceaseless propaganda that attacks the very surface of our homeworld. Only through imaginative, collaborative, and courageous endeavor can we realize our right to govern ourselves, manage our own lives, protect our families, engage in meaningful work, and house justice, equity, inclusivity, safety, and security in a stronger and fairer nation where none are left behind. Principle number 1, this is 1 of 10, unity in diversity. The root of all democratic self-governance is in finding common ground through our differences from and similarities to one another. All major structures of government should tend this enriching interplay of difference. You know, when we have one without the other, it never works. If we only have difference, we only have bickering and fragmentation and conflict. If we only have unity with no respect for difference, then it's not real unity, it's totalitarianism. Principle number 2, democracy for all. The basis of government is the will of the people. The more inclusive a democracy, the stronger it is and the longer it will last. How often do you see a video of somebody being pulled over in traffic and it's some public figure, some famous person, and one of the first narcissistic things they say is, "Do you know who I am?" I mean, that's how normalized it has become for us to treat some people better than others. It's got to stop. We're either all equal before the law or nobody's equal. Principle number 3, economic and political liberty. Political liberty means little when citizens are subjected to economic inequality, lack of control over the economic forces that impact them. A basic task of government is to ensure that no one suffers financial hardship imposed by others. Principle number 4, which is, they're all interrelated, but that one's related especially to number 3, care and education for all. Everyone has a right to life-supporting resources like food, water, safety, shelter, healthcare, communications, transportation, current news, and basic education. Depriving anyone of them is never justified. Principle number 5, responsibility and accountability for all. Liberty must not be misunderstood as a license to do whatever one pleases, regardless of consequences. Genuine liberty is supported and contained by how one's actions impact others, and those who inflict harm must be held to account. No more unequal so-called justice. No more powerful people getting a free pass. Principle number 6, earth care. Liberty means nothing when the land and the elements are not safe to live among. A responsibility basic to citizens and governments alike is care of the natural world, of which we are all a part. Principle number 7, security and peace. Everyone deserves to live in peace, free of the threat of war. National security depends on cultivating fair and just relationships abroad as well as internally. You know, we've probably all heard that the military budget's now up in the trillion range, and we've got more bases around the world than any empire ever has in history, while people at home can't pay the bills. Principle number 8, redress of past and present injustice. Because justice is the foundation of democratic government, when injustice occurs, it must be promptly addressed. Past injustices must be acknowledged, and attempts made to adjust whatever imbalances linger. And by the way, here in California, we've tried things like reparations. They work. So do public apologies that are sincere. Principle number 9, freedom from religious pressure. No one's public or private rights or opportunities should be curtailed due to membership or non-membership in a religious body. Everyone shall enjoy the right to participate in the religion of their own choice or none at all. There are 2 places in the Constitution that say religion and government should be kept separate. All the founders thought that. The Treaty with Tripoli specifies that, as signed by John Adams. That's what the country was founded on. The idea that religion is a private matter. And principle number 10, celebration of local, national, and world culture. A viable and healthy nation remains aware of its relations with and commitments to all of humanity. Citizens and their governance benefit by regularly setting aside occasions for celebrating their ties with the greater human family. So I'll end with a quote by John Adams. He wrote this to Richard Price in 1786. "The American war is over, but this is far from being the case with the American Revolution."